What's up, YouTube? It's your boy. I come back to another video on this channel. As always, I am the Rhino, and today we got a really cool guest on the show. If you follow the UFC, he just won a fight in the Kamaru Usman and Masvidal 2. Or sorry, Kamaru Usman Covington 2. My apologies, wrong fight. In the fight, we got Chris Barnett on the show.
Hey.
We got the Beastie Boy himself.
Oh.
Yeah. So welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna start off with the most obvious question here. How the heck did you get into fighting as in the what I like to call a King Kong division?
How did I get into fighting? I guess long story short, been doing combative sports pretty much my whole life. Started Taekwondo at 4 years old, wrestled in high school, got a scholarship there. Went down to Florida and I was actually dancing in a club, and this dude reached out to me and was like, "Hey man, you look like you know some fighting moves, and would you want to, do a fighter tryout?" I didn't know what a fighter tryout, I thought it was some Kumite stuff or whatever. So I showed up, impressed the judges there and whatnot. Didn't technically win the little tryout, but they told me to stay around in the gym, and then literally 2 weeks later, I was on HDNet fighting against a guy that had 100+ pro fights in Jonathan Ivey. That's that I fought as my pro debut. But after that HDNet fight, from there it was the rest is history. Like we're here today from that. Yeah, that's the start of my journey, we'll say.
So I know, going back through your record, I know you started off in, I think, the regional circuit before you went up to the UFC. How was it during the regional circuits versus going into the, lack of a better word, big leagues?
I guess the regional wise, we'll say in state was what it was. Like, I understood what they needed and what they were looking for, and I felt like I was given that. But also, when I got to the point, I got complacent, and I gained too much weight. They weren't, you can't get signed to a Bellator or a UFC, being over 265. So my eyes really got open when I actually fought in Rising.
Okay.
That one hit me for the way the production and stuff was ran. It opened up a different eye for me, to where I was like, holy moly, like, you know what I mean? The higher you climb, actually, the better they take care of you. So
Right.
I buckled down, got right. I think I went on like a 6-0 or 7-0 run. And then UFC actually noticed, I was on weight. I made weight all 6 times. I did everything I needed to do. And they signed me, brought me in for Big Ben. But that little Chitlin circuit,
Right.
it is what it is. You need to put that work in there, to grind and show them, you're different or something,
Right.
to be able to get on to the UFC.
Okay, that's cool. So I know in your debut against, what's his name, Ben Rothwell, you you lost that fight, unfortunately. How was it fighting Ben Rothwell versus your previous fights?
It was 8 days notice, which is wild, because it wasn't, not so much because I've taken fights on like 12 hours notice before. I've been, hey, what are you doing? Hey, nothing. Hey, you want to come fight? Sure, why not? So but to fight a legend, you know what I mean, on
Yeah.
8 days, and then to not have the training partners, the training facility, the training this and that I needed to go into that camp. Like, technically, before I went in there with Ben Rothwell, I hadn't had a wrestling match since I think it was like a jiu-jitsu tournament from a year ago, prior to me going in there with Ben. A lot of my
Right.
training just going to the gym, stand up, and then keep it moving. If you look at my posts and whatnot on Facebook, I'm always constantly begging, hey man, what's somebody doing today? What's somebody doing today? But yeah, fighting a legend, and then somebody that knocked out a guy that I trained with, Alistair Overeem, who's a legend himself,
Yeah.
mindset wasn't right going into that fight. Like there was a lot going on, especially during that week, the week of the fight too,
Mhm.
just mentally I wasn't there for that fight. I didn't want to piss off Dana White and come out too energetic and too, being too animated and whatnot. So if you notice the walk, that was completely different. And I'm an energy driven, type person, and
Yeah.
not that energy going into that cage. It was wild. But
Yeah.
you fast forward, and you see the difference. When you give me a camp, you give me the energy I need, you give me the people in the crowd. It's a huge turnaround. But yeah, Big Ben, he was who we thought he was. And um in that MMA world, I went into that. Honestly, I went into my mindset going into that fight was I have a chance because we all have on 4-ounce gloves. There wasn't a mindset of um yeah, honestly, that what I just said, and then I can't let him knock me out like that. Those are definitely the wrong mindset. There wasn't a mindset of I need to win this fight. It was just don't get knocked out. Don't what was it? Yeah, don't get knocked out, and just not mentally. I wasn't there for that fight at all.
Okay. So you were obviously you got submitted or you lost that first fight against Ben Rockwell by what was it, guillotine choke, if I'm not mistaken?
I think if you ask him, it was called like a go-go choke or something. He calls it. But yeah, initially they put it down as a guillotine.
Okay. And then obviously you came back that next fight, the Usman Covington 2 fight, and won against Galen. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Oh yeah, Gian Vellante. Yeah.
John Vellante with that's like what took me by surprise, that spinning kick. I was like, oh shit. I was watching that like live. I literally just stood up, was like, how the wait, what? Yeah. I'm just like, because like I do martial arts too. I'm a blue belt in Krav Maga and blue belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I'm also I'm in the heavyweight what we will consider the heavyweight category. And heavyweights are not supposed to move like that, but it's like how the hell? So that was an awesome spinning back kick. Just saying.
Oh yeah, man. That's that Taekwondo
Yeah.
background in there, man. Just always sticking to my TKD roots when I'm out there in them fights.
Yeah. So I'm just like that night literally took me by surprise. I'm just like I was on my feet. I was like cussing like I've never cussed in my life. Like like the whole everything. Like oh, that reminded me a lot of JDS during his prime when he did that.
Yeah,
Does that?
Mark Hunt with that. He called
Yeah.
Mark Hunt with the same spinning hook kick. Mark Hunt did the little we will wobble and fair.
Yeah. So that was fun to watch. A lot of JDS memories in that one.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm kind of moving forward. Who do you want to fight next, if given the opportunity?
Anybody at this point, man. I was supposed to have something soon, but that kind of had that fell through or whatever. So
Right.
we're out here working, man. Just ready to start grinding and getting it like my old high school coach. We were just out there watching the guys wrestle and whatnot today, and I was just like, dude, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to go live, as they say. So, but yeah, man, just no specific names really. Like, there's a couple out there that have called me out. The dude Carlos Felipe, he's called me out. And then UFC's throwing a couple of names at me and whatnot, and we've said here, but this and that's happened. So yeah, I mean, we here ready, so whenever they're ready, we're ready.
Cool. So, as you know, being part of the heavyweight division in the UFC, there's a huge title unification bout next Saturday between Francis the Predator Ngannou and Cyril Gane.
Yeah, that's out there in Cali, right? Anaheim Stadium Center or
It's in
whatever.
Anaheim. Yes. If you had to take a side and you're comfortable taking a side, who would you pick?
Oh, Gane. Yeah, I'm on record already saying Creole Gane, just because of his movement, his style. He's a goofball like me. You know, like if you listen to his interviews and the stuff he does and whatnot, like he's a straight up, you know, goofball. And Ganu, you know, good guy, but just he's very serious, you know. So
Yeah.
but yeah, Creole Gain, like the way he his movement and his style, actually he's got the same, like he's like a, it's almost like he does Taekwondo, but he doesn't. Or he might have some type of Taekwondo background also, but the way he fights is very smooth and Taekwondo-esque. You know, he's almost like he looks like Wonder Boy in a 265 suit. You know,
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun fight. I think it's too close to see who would win that fight.
Ganu's got that punching power. You know, that can put anybody to sleep at any moment.
Yeah.
Uh, and Gaines got the endurance and stamina to you know make them miss, make them pay. You know, bull matador type thing.
Literally, yeah. Yeah. I still have flashbacks of Overeem getting knocked the hell out by Francis Ngannou.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like he got electrocuted, just saying.
Like, thank God, you know, the neck muscles and everything kept attached because his head was going to like the fifth row.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was bad.
Yeah, I was like, I saw that punch. I was like, oh shit, that's not a good punch to be on the receiving end of. Yeah. Well, yeah. So like, how's the? I know training camp is going to be kind of tough. How is training camp going into, let's say, like your most recent win over or in your most recent fight?
What was that camp like?
Yeah, how was that camp like versus Ben Rothwell or the previous fights?
Ben Rothwell, there wasn't no camp, but it was literally me. I went to Crunch, what, 6 times to like literally Ben Rothwell. That camp, I had to focus on losing weight instead of even focusing on him. Like, you know, like there was no um there was no camp. It literally was me going to the gym. I ran on the treadmill, did some leg curls, kicked the bag a couple times, and then we went out there. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say if I did have a camp, it was when I got to Vegas and Todd Duffy had helped me out, you know, with the movement around and whatnot. But yeah, no, it was bad. But yeah, with this one, I got a chance to work with Scott Barrett out in Cleveland, Georgia. And we just, you know, we actually got a chance to train like a fighter, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the outcome, you know, showed itself, you know, but we were able to do, you know, the work that we needed to put in, you know, the cardio, the road work, the pad work, the this, the that, looking at videos. And even though the whole camp we didn't work on Volante throwing any kicks at all, we
Mhm.
still had, you know, A, B, C, and D, you know, set up, you know, for these for this fight because we actually had time, you know, we actually had a camp to do that with. But yeah, no, just it was just a huge difference with this one, and it was still kind of short because we actually started 4 weeks out, you know, from the actual fight because of, you know, just everything going on and whatnot. So just with 4 weeks solid, I feel comfortable fighting anybody. You give me 8 weeks, I can put on a major show, you know.
So longer the better, I guess, for you.
Right, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I know that you said how different. Yeah. So I guess the next question for me is like, how do you use your Taekwondo skills? Like other than that spinning kick that you did against Volante, do you use your Taekwondo experience or no?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch a lot of my fights, one
Mhm.
of my first videos I got 1 million views on was me throwing a tornado kick. Yeah, like, so, you know, like every fight, actually my first fight ever, I threw a tornado kick, a 540 hook kick, and a spinning side kick. Like, you know what I mean? I threw I threw everything, you know. So every fight I've actually ever been in, I try. Even with Rothwell, I threw a sloppy hook kick, like it was a desperation hook kick. It was awful. But every fight I've been in, I always try to display some type of Taekwondo skill. There was a solid error, like I'll say about a good 3 year span where my knees were just, I mean, shot. Like I really shouldn't have been out there at all. And I was even still, you know, trying to, you know, throw some Taekwondo esque kicks and whatnot. But yeah, no, like I think that's that's what sets me aside. Like a lot of people honestly, you look at me, you don't expect it. You get a lineup of people that look like me. None of them are gonna do what I've done, and I contribute that to Taekwondo because Taekwondo has set me aside, has given me tools that no one else has, and the abilities that that a lot of folks are they look for, but they didn't grasp it because they never did Taekwondo. You know.
Right. So kind of going back across all of your fights, losses, wins, all that. Who is your most favorite fight so far?
Oh,
Favorite person that you have fought so far?
I'd say Volante just because of the surge and where it was, Madison Square Garden,
Right.
UFC, making history there, the feeling, you know, but then also the one in Korea against Shim Ganu. I was actually in Korea showing off Taekwondo where Taekwondo was born, so that one holds, a nice little token in my heart too. But shoot, even my first fight, just because in my mind, I still think I was there. I think I was. I think they were still trying to set me up. Who throws a 0-0 guy against a guy that has over 90 plus fights? You know what I
Right.
mean? So I went out there and busted my butt and showed off out there. Between those three right there, I'd say my first one, just because I got to prove people wrong, and then the one where I was in Korea and I got to show off actual Taekwondo, to my Korean fans, the Korean market, and they loved it, and then this last one definitely because it being in Madison Square Gardens in the history, I feel like I'm part of that now, I laid my brick out there in Madison Square, so.
Yeah. Who would you fight in Korea? If you don't want me,
Shim Ganu.
Shingan. Okay, that was him.
Is the name of the guy, yeah, that I threw the 360 tornado kick, and it was just like literally I think I forgot how many kicks they ended up saying I threw, but I had scored so many kicks, points off of kicks alone, like I'd set a record at Road FC, so
Right.
I was throwing kicks left and right that fight right there.
Cool. Sounds like you had a beautiful time kicking him.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun.
So here's my next question. Kind of obviously MMA, mixed martial or any combat sports, regardless if it's boxing, MMA, or whatever. Obviously, every fighter has their own time limit, regardless if it's they retire by 30 or 35 or whatever the case might be. If you had the advice, if someone was, let's just say someone who's watching this video or listening to this podcast is interested or thinking about going into MMA, what advice would you give this person?
Oh, my bad. Just do it. Honestly, like at this point, there's so many things that are different from back in the day. Like to try to get into MMA late, you'd have to, it's a tough thing. It's not hard now because you have gyms now that are literally teaching everything. Back in the day, you have to go to the Muay Thai gym. Then you'd have to go to the Judo gym. Then you'd have to go to the Taekwondo gym. But all those classes were scheduled around the same time. So there's no way you could, ever get it out. You had to plan out your week. Okay, Monday, Taekwondo. Tuesday, wrestling. Wednesday, this. No, like now it's, okay, 8 o'clock, wrestling, 10 o'clock, Muay Thai, 12 o'clock, boxing, so it's a lot easier to grasp this game and to understand it, and I'm not saying anybody you can go out there and be a jiu-jitsu black belt overnight or anything, but
Right.
YouTube and honestly, like people that it's tough to say that you can't learn anything from YouTube because I've sat back and been like, oh my God, like I've watched other people fight. I've watched this, I've watched that, tutorials of this and that now, it's completely different than it was honestly 10 years ago, there's no age limit, I'll say. Now there's a body limit, like as far
Yeah.
as in your body. Like if you've been beat up your whole life and you're trying to hop into this at 40, those I'll say those football players that try to get into this sport at 35 and stuff, that is grueling. Like football is a grueling sport on your body, so that's completely different than a guy that will just say has been going to the gym his whole life and then all of a sudden he wants to be a fighter, you know what I mean, or
Makes sense.
Mr. Johnson, your math teacher, who wants to be a fighter now. He's taking care of his body, but he's never done anything too extreme. He's got a better chance to last a lot longer, in this sport, which falls back to being in it now at my age. I thought I was going to be done. Honestly, I say around like 30-ish, but the way modern medicine is keeping up with everything, dude, and the way you can go, like I've got this cryo place that I can go to, and I feel like I didn't even train that day. You know what I mean? After putting in all this work, I go jump in this little cryo machine, I hop back out, and it's like, all right, y'all ready to work again? You know what I mean? And I haven't felt like that since I was in high school. Wrestling practice, wake up, oh my God, I'm dead. You wake back up the next day, you can do it again. That's high school. By the time I was hitting college, I was like, yo, all right, we got to practice again. When? Ooh, all right, man, let's, but this like the cryo, and then the stretching, yoga, swimming, and cryo, I'll say has put 10 years back onto my life, back on my MMA life. And listening, like really, man, like you hear these kind of things from folks. I used to hear it all the time, especially when I first started MMA. Oh my goodness, like you could tell me whatever, but I wasn't trying to hear it because it wasn't affecting me. Like you can't, hey man, you shouldn't do that. Why not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then I'll say at the time, my talent outweighed my hard work. Now I'm putting in 10 times hard work and it's matching with my talent. I was a very talented kid that, that was just throwing wild stuff. And I don't want to say got lucky because, they say, hard work and talent, equals luck or whatever. But there were certain things that I was doing, I got lucky with. And instead of, embracing that, I just kind of ran with it. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of just being like, ooh, let me dial back, look at this. Let's see what we did there to be successful and keep moving that way. Nope, I'm just going to keep free running. That was my mindset. And it worked. Thank God. But there's things that I look at now in certain situations where I'm like, I could have easily been here, and there already had I just done it this way instead of just being like, nope. I'm gonna let my hair go and run, free. But yeah, no, man. Like I don't feel there's don't 45. Yeah, all right. That enough is enough. But also, you got to be a realist, man. You got to be real with yourself. If you're 40, don't expect to get to the UFC. If you want to take some fights, then cool, yeah. But you're 40. The market isn't for that. And now, you know what I mean? Like they have to sell tickets. It is what it is, and if you're going to be 40 out there fighting, you better be doing 540, 360 kicks and uppercutting folks literally like, Ngannou is and stuff like that. Like you have to be special if you're coming in with, stuff against you already,
Right.
But yeah, other than that, man, like just get your toes wet, man. Go ahead, dip that toe in and see. I will say everybody wants to be a fighter until they get punched in the face. So that's another thing too. You better find out real quick if getting hit in the nose is for you. I think you can see it. My nose is this way and that way. You know what I mean? So it's just one of them things. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get punched. Nobody is or we'll say Neo in the Matrix. I don't care who you think you are. What was that dude? Oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. Bellator fighter, Venom, Michael Venom Page.
Michael Page, yeah.
And you saw what Lima did. You know what I mean? Like he came back and won or whatever. But everybody can get hit. So yeah, it's a smart man's game, not a young man's game. So the smarter you are in this sport, the better off you're gonna be.
Right. And kind of going back to what you said earlier about having a body limit but not an age limit, didn't one of the original gangsters in the UFC start at 32? What is his name? Former wrestler, heavyweight, early on fighter. I'm like completely blanking on his name right now.
UFC?
UFC.
32. You got tattoos and whatnot?
Not that I'm aware of. This is gonna bother me now. Great, I have to look this up. Sorry.
Is he?
His nickname is The Natural. Oh, Randy Couture. That's his name.
Oh yeah, no, Randy had. Okay, but here's the thing though. Randy was also a wrestler, and Randy took care of his body. And then Randy joined an era of the UFC where there was just dopey, like you just had to be big heavyweights. You didn't have to have technique. Randy brought in the aspect of if you're going to be a heavyweight, you have to have some kind of technique. what I think he was like 42 when he ended up winning the title.
Something like
Now,
that, yeah.
realistically, Randy Couture also was 42, but his record was like 13-12. You know what I mean? Like it was a wild record, you know. So that was one of those things. It hasn't happened since. It's
Right.
not much as I say that, and then what's his name just won at 205. Oh my God, why can't I think of his name right now? Old man, we just won at 205, Brazilian dude.
In the UFC?
Yeah.
To the internet.
Oh, I can't think of his name right now. I literally just shook his hand in November.
I'm actually pulling up the UFC. I'm gonna share my screen. That way.
Jon Jones. Oh, this is gonna make me so mad. As soon as I see him, I'm gonna be like, duh.
You said November. Was he in?
No,
this
he
fight?
he just won the 205 title. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh,
Old.
yeah. Glover Teixeira.
Teixeira, there we go.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, him, but Teixeira also, again, another person that took care of his body throughout his career, you know what I'm saying? So it's not really an age thing. It's really like how you've taken care of your body. Randy Couture has always been a wrestler, and he's always taken care of himself. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I don't think he really doesn't smoke or drink or do anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So another one, like, you know what I mean? A natural athlete, taking care of his body. Teixeira, he's always training with young cats. You know what I mean? Mindset right there. That just proves it right there. You know what I mean? It's a mindset thing. You know, so it's definitely not an age thing. It's more of a body. You know, a body limit thing, a body set thing, you know, just as long as you've taken care of yourself. You can't be 35 and never have done a squat out there and expect to go, you know, squat 500 pounds. You know what I mean? You got to work your way up to it. So even then at 35, if you put in enough time and work, it's going to be more tear on your body. You're going to need more time to recover, but you can build yourself up to, you know, something decent. You can fight on that, as I call it, that Chitlin circuit, and do decent, because I've seen it so many times on that AMI circuit and some of these little smaller shows. Those guys don't take it serious. They just kind of, okay, I guess I'll fight, you know what I mean? But there's always that one or two guys that take it beyond serious, and 2 years later you're hearing about them in the UFC and whatnot.
Yeah. So that's talking about coming up to UFC. That's what happened to you 2 years later.
Right here, there you go.
But yeah, so that's interesting. I remember Glover Teixeira is like on definitely the older side of the UFC spectrum, but I didn't realize it was more of a mindset issue than an age or physicality or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like the mind is a powerful thing.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of backing up a little bit. I know you're currently fighting the UFC heavyweight division among Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane, Stipe, just to name a few fighters. Have you ever thought about going down to 205 or even down to middleweight, like what Anthony Rumble Johnson did?
Yeah, everybody's mentioned it and talked about it, but if you really logically think about it, what would be the point? They're all the same height, and then they'd be faster. I'm faster than a lot of these heavyweights now. You know what I mean? Not the Ngannous and stuff like that, but like I've sparred with Stipe. I've done decent with them. You know what I mean? So there'd be no real reason for me to get down to that weight. You know, I actually have an advantage being this big at this weight because of sense of gravity. Like, you know what I mean? And then if you look, it's not like you can't be successful being a short heavyweight. Look at Tyson, look at James Toney, look at Randy Couture, again, another short heavyweight, So there'd be no reason except for to appease the not even the people, like, you know what I mean, just to appease the I guess the fans that have just have random, I guess, that random question, or it's just, I'll say, people are so stuck on stereotypical looks. You know what I mean? I'm 5'9", so automatically they think I should be X amount. To me, why? You know what I mean? Like, why sit in that mold? Why I like to break that mold. And then on top of that, I'm 22 or technically 23-7. It's not like I haven't been successful at heavyweight. I'd see if I was 2-17 and I'm still trying to fight at heavyweight, I need to find something else to do,
Right.
But like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's like sometimes to sit back, and there was a point where I was like, yeah, let me get all the way down. Why? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no real reason in it behind it. You know what I mean? Maybe health wise, but after getting everything checked out, from what they've told me, they're like, yo, hey, you're doing this, you got that, you're actually, this is above this, and we're very shocked at this. We need to check this out because you're not supposed to be doing that, but your body's, so as long as I'm healthy, I don't see a real reason why. But now, if they told me, hey, you need to cut down for health reasons, then this and that, yeah,
Right.
of course. I mean, I'm not one of them type, no, I'm fat and I love it, now get it. But yeah, no, like, no reason to cut down because all the guys are the same size, really. Because after a 205 weigh-in, they're gonna blow up to 235 anyways. Same height, same size, really, and then faster, anyways. So I'm good. And then yeah, a lot of them are taller. Every time I fight somebody that's 205 or around that weight, or a 205 fighter that's just being lazy, walking around at 235, they're always like 6'7", 6'6", in the weird lanky frames to deal with on the ground. I'm good. I'm good on it. I'd rather have a little belly to punch at.
Right. That makes sense. So kind of coming back to more of the UFC fights, who is your favorite fighter if given the opportunity? It could be in per weight class or there's one overall. Who's your favorite fighter that you would like to fight?
Oh, that I like to fight.
Yeah.
Um,
I think favorite is not a good word, but
overall,
overall in the heavyweight category.
definitely that prime Fedor. I would like to see how long I would last, man. Just because that he was something else, man. Again, another short heavyweight. You know what I
Right.
mean? That was very successful. But besides him, I would love to fight myself when I was at technically 12-0, but 13-1 or whatever. I like to go back in with my knowledge now and stuff that I have
Right.
now, back and fight that young, hungry, just angry Thundercat. You know what I mean? Just to
Right.
see where it would be a cool little mirror match. To go back and tap myself on the shoulder and be like, hey, you know what we got to do, right? But yeah, no, definitely between those two. But yeah, that prime Fedor would be something else.
All right. Now I'm gonna kind of twist the question a little bit. If would you fight? Who would you fight in the UFC currently in the heavyweight division? If let's just say you had the metaphorical gun to your head kind of thing,
Oh, who would or wouldn't?
who you would fight?
Oh, I'd fight anybody. Honestly, like it ain't no ifs, ands, or whatever with it. Like with the Gian Vellante, like to me, me and him were homeboys. So like I'm not one to. It's not a when people get asked that question, a lot of times it gets taken maliciously because of the way the sport is projected. It's projected as a violent sport. It's projected as, oh shoot, he called you out, so y'all gotta fight. I look at it as I'm honored to fight you in this art form that we're about to do. We're about to display a beautiful form of art, and I'm more than honored to share this canvas with you.
Right.
So yeah, to me, yeah, no, I'd be more than happy to fight anybody in the UFC. Like that's my job. I'm not one of them. Oh no, no, I don't want to fight that guy because we're friends and we went to camp together. Nah, forget all that. Hey man, sign the contract. Let's go. At the end of the day, we will be friends again. I promise. Like I don't care if you don't like me or not. We're gonna be friends again.
Right. So you're saying like any day, any place, any time kind of thing.
I see. Any day,
Yeah.
any place, time wise. Now that's where we fall back into the question of
Yeah.
you give me 4 weeks, we're solid.
Right. Sorry, I misspoke. My apologies.
Now, I was just messing with you. I was messing.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, so yeah, that's interesting. Like I've never really thought about it like that because like I'm like an outsider looking into MMA, and I've seen like Cormier and the Jon Jones feud, and or like Covington versus everybody in his division seems like. Yeah, or like even going back to like a little bit older time, like Tito and Liddell, like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it's like that's what I thought like everyone was like. To be honest, like, and I'm happy you corrected me on that.
Oh yeah, nah, man. Like that's what sells. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of that is what sells. Look at Connor. Connor literally slapped an old man in a bar, and
Yeah,
his whiskey sales went up. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it sells, but I feel like I'm pushing a different narrative. Like the way what I the reaction I'm getting is actually what I've been looking for. You know what I mean? That you,
right,
to prove a point of you can be positive in this and still get the results out of it. You know what I mean? What it
right,
really boils down to is what you do in that cage at the end of the day. Like you can be the worst person in the world and go out there and impress everybody in that cage, and they're gonna still love you. Like, you know what I
right.
mean? Not to whatever. I love me personally. My personal relationship with Jon Jones is great, but if you look at the stuff he's done or accused of and all this other stuff, people can't stand him now. But as soon as he fights again, all that love's gonna come back. I know it for a fact. It's gonna come back instantly. They're gonna be like, okay, well, like it's crazy how quick people are to forget when
Yeah,
you're teasing them, when you're giving them something they want. It's wild how soon, like, oh well, whatever, and then they keep it moving. So yeah, man, it's an eye-opening thing in this
right.
market. And not every fighter is there's a lot of underclothes, I'll say, nerds in this MMA game. Not everybody's a tough guy out there. That tough guy persona is starting to definitely die down in the MMA world.
Cool, cool. Kind of going back to Jon Jones, you mentioned that you have a good relationship with Jon Jones. I know John was the king of the light heavyweights for an extended period of time over the last decade plus, or however long. And then recently he announced that he's going to move up to heavyweight. And obviously, heavyweight and light heavyweight are two different animals. So
Yeah, see, he's doing the work. Like again, what I was saying, he has the body and like and the age really too. Honestly, like that's another thing that he does. He does have youth on his side
right,
when it comes to jumping to heavyweight, because jumping into heavyweight old, you've got to be faster and you've got to be a little bit stronger. Like like Randy Couture, he was successful because he was stronger than a lot of these big dopey guys like the Tim Silvers.
yeah,
If you were going to sleep, but he had to catch you. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? So with Randy Couture, he was like, if I take his big butt down, that's a wrap. I'll just lay on top of him, ground and pound and do what I got to do, But yeah, Jones coming to heavyweight is cool because it's honestly going to wake up the heavyweight division in a fact of there's no more, I'm just going to hit you really hard and, the fight's over heavyweight fights anymore. It's going to be guys like Jones and me, myself, throwing the spin kicks, making the heavyweight division look small again. I'll say no, but it's weird. Even though his body's physically changing and everything, his legs and stuff are still small. And that's the only thing I'm worried about with him coming to that heavyweight division is I'm sure, I'm sure he's doing enough work, whatever, to work on him, but
right.
they're still small. Like if you look at the wrestling videos where he's out there with Cejudo right now working on wrestling and whatnot, and his legs are still tiny, which is crazy because you got guys, what's that dude's name? I don't know if you ever seen that. If you get a chance, look up Parker Porter's thighs. Actually, you know what's funny? Jon Jones beat Parker Porter at 205, and now they're both in the heavyweight division at whatever at UFC.
Right.
But yeah, Parker Porter's thighs are like literally two tree trunks put together. So if you get somebody like that kicking your leg, and Jon Jones's leg, but ain't so big. He still got 205 legs. He's got a heavyweight up top, but 205 legs. But he doesn't skip leg day, so it's crazy. But
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like he's definitely going to open up a lot of eyes at heavyweights if they give him the right. I don't think he should jump. He's trying to be champion right off the bat. I think they should give him the right little matchups first off, just to prove a point, and then from there, you're going to see a lot of heavyweights be like, you know what, I thought I wanted to fight him. Let me step back a little bit.
Yeah, I was actually discussing that exact question with one of my instructors on who he should fight before coming up to fight for the belt, and that was when Stipe was king of the heavyweights.
Yeah,
So
yep.
yeah, and that was like I was talking to my instructor. He was like, I think Jon Jones should fight Derek Lewis, Ngannou, then Stipe. Again, this is when Stipe had the belt in Cleveland for the heavyweights.
Gotcha.
Now I think it should be Derek Lewis, Stipe, and then the loser out of the next week's fight heavyweight champion fight.
Yeah, shoot.
Yeah.
That'd be good. And then plus that's that's money right there because you keep
Yeah.
it your fight. I mean, it's fights people want to see too. So yeah, that's good calls right there.
Yeah, again, but then again, I'm not Dana White. I'm not like the matchmaker or anything. I'm just sharing my own opinion.
Yeah, no, it's good. Shoot.
But yeah, talking about money, I know there's a lot of controversy with fighter pay and all that stuff in the UFC and possibly the other organizations like Bellator and Ryzen. What's your opinion on that? If you are comfortable answering that question.
Nah, yeah, I'm good. I done fought in too many organizations and I've seen here, there, I've been not paid. I've been paid late. I've had to go back and find the promoter. UFC's taking care of me, dude. So to hear some of the complaints from some of these fighters, I don't know their situation, so I don't want to say they're being greedy, but I know in my situation, if I were to ask for the stuff that they're asking for, I feel like I'd just be being greedy. You know,
Right.
the stuff they do outside of the fight, we'll say fight week, is what doesn't get talked about enough. They take care of their fighters. Like I've been called even still to this day to check on me. Like hey Chris, we want to make sure your heel's okay. If this is going on, we want to make sure you get to this doctor. We got them lined up for this and that. And I'm like, y'all, I appreciate it. I'm fine. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't it's baffling because you hear all this negative rhetoric about pay, this and that, and I don't think these fighters have ever had to pay out of pocket like a regular hospital bill, and that's where
Wow.
I stand different, and I've had to do that, and to see the difference in not having to pay it and then having the UFC cover everything, you don't look at that as they're supposed to do that. You look at that as, oh my God, like wow, those are some really good incentives, So
Right.
you took a $21,000 medical bill and you staple that onto your UFC purse. You start to look at the numbers. You're like, hang on, we are really matching, the Bellators and this and that. Now I don't know Bellators, policy on taking care of the fighters and whatnot. I know every MMA organization has to take care of the fighter at least, like directly outside the fight or in the fight or whatever. But I
Right.
know you like they damn near rebuilt me before right after that Rothwell fight. Even after a loss, they were like, "Hey, we want to make sure you're good. We want to do this."
Right.
They gave me that. They did everything, supplements, anything I needed. They were right there to make sure I was okay. So pay wise, I don't know if it's because I came into the UFC with a large record. Like my record was a lot bigger than the guys that are 6-0 coming in, and I came in the UFC with a little bit of I had a nice little following before, it wasn't what it is now. It was only 40,000, but yeah, man, like they've been well, and you'll never hear me, bad mouth I need to get paid more because even doing what I'm doing, it proves to show. If you go out there and you put on a show, they're gonna give you more money. I got performance of the night because I put on a show, in the ring, out the ring, before and after, So just go fighters. What I'll say is go out there and do what you need to do, and you'll get paid the way you need to.
Right. So the UFC in short is taking care of you and making sure you're squared away and everything's good with you.
Yeah, I have no complaints at all, man. Like just constantly checking on me like the staff does. Like they're good people. Like they've got a good staff around them. The crew's good. Um yeah, man, like you just I don't know how to put it. Like um you they're good to you, you know what I mean? If you're good to them type thing, man. Like
Mhm.
go out there and put on the show, they're gonna take care of you type thing. The way you fight is the way they'll take care of you. I'll say that much.
Okay. Obviously, that goes true for any organization, regardless if it's the UFC or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually out of questions right now. Damn. But yeah. So I know you didn't want to like. So kind of moving forward, I know it's going to be interesting to see you fight whoever you fight next and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, like if you ever need a training partner, let me know. If you're in California, I'll train with you for a little bit.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to fly out there actually. I think see there we go again. UFC taking care of me. They
Yeah,
gave me some tickets to go see Gain and Ngannou fight. So if I get out there, wait, how far are y'all from Anaheim?
about 7 hours by car.
Oh wow, okay.
California is a big state. Not many people realize how big it is.
You like not like it makes sense because I was thinking about that with Florida. Like
Yeah,
you can start at the top of Florida and by like the end of the day, good night. You're not even halfway through it, you know. So
yeah,
yeah, California is huge. Yeah, I do remember that. California, what Texas and Alaska, the three
yeah,
biggest or something. So yeah.
yeah. Alaska is number one, Texas is number two, and then California.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I had to do a project on that. Long story. That was a
No,
different
I'm sure.
lifetime. Yeah.
So geometry, yeah, man.
Yeah. But yeah, where can I guess the only question I have left is where can people find you?
Instagram. I'm on there, Beast Boy Barnett, man. I try to get back, to people. I respond. I'm still getting flooded. I thought it'd slow down by like after Christmas, especially New Year. It's still, man, every day. Like I try to do at least 100, responses a day, and then I'll do that, and I go back in there, and it's 500 more, and I'm like, they got to be bots. They got to be bots, but no, they're people, and I'm trying to reach back out to them, man. So that's the best place to honestly reach out. Shoot, I've got the Facebook fan page, but like this dude, like I got a guy that runs that, so I hardly ever see if I do the messages because he'll go through them and not let me know anything, So, but yeah, nah, man, Instagram mainly, and then other than that, just keep me, yeah, just keep following on Instagram. Really, I'll post everything on there, fight news and everything else. So,
Right. If you're watching this on YouTube, links will be in the description box down below, so you can check Chris Barnett out. Well,
yes, sir.
Chris, thank you for being on the show. Much appreciated. Like I said previously, all the links to his social media will be in the description along with mine. But yeah, as always, have a good one. See you in the next episode. Peace.